Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Lead Her podcast. Now, today we are here. It is officially the 1st of December as I record this, and I want you to do a December survival kit because I know this time of the year can be crazily stressful and it can leave a lot of women burnt out by Boxing Day, by New Year's Day. We almost feel like we need another holiday because all we have done is give, that we have completely forgotten about ourselves. Now, I don't want to be someone that's here today to tell you what to do. Like, Christmas is your time and it's only 1 month of the year and it doesn't matter how you live it. It's all doing what suits you, what suits your family, what makes you happy. But if you do feel completely burnt out by the end of Christmas and New Year, then it's time for us just to look at some things that might just make you feel that little bit better, make you feel a little bit more in control, or maybe make you feel refreshed at the end of the year. Because for me personally, this is the only time of the year that I get completely off. Like, none of our Lead Her members really care about training and nutrition and building confidence over Christmas and New Year. And quite frankly, I tell them all to take it completely off. Those guys work hard all year round. We deserve to enjoy Christmas even more than everybody else. But yeah, I just want to kind of give some tips and advice and thoughts around December that you can maybe take away today. There might be one thing that benefits you, two things, three things, there might be loads more. But I'm not here to say you must do all of this. Absolutely not. And it's just for you guys who maybe need that little bit of a push to think about yourself more. That's what I'm here for today, and that is my mission for today as well. I want you feeling refreshed and regenerated going into next year and ready to boss 2024. I can't believe it's going to be 2024. Saying that out loud does scare me a little bit. So what I would say is first is that the good thing about December is that you should just think how you want it to look, how you want it to be, or how you don't want it to be. For myself personally, like, I've had a lot of years with Christmas where I completely overindulge. I drink. I was brought up with the mindset of if you're not drunk, you're not having fun. And it took me many years to just kind of change that mindset to be like, why I actually drink now and what I actually eat now, and being able to be in a position where I can have some chocolates or I can have some crisps and not feel like I'm really having to undo my trousers or put my pajamas on because I'm so full. I feel like I'm much better with food where I feel full and satisfied and amazing on kind of Christmas Day and the build up to Christmas. So I have worked through this myself through some of these methods, but I don't want to see my Christmas me being full, sluggish, exhausted, and just feeling really kind of run down. Like, that's not how I want it to look for me. So now I can take the steps back and say, well, what's actually going to make me feel refreshed at the end of this year? What's going to make me feel more positive mentally at the end of this year? What's going to make me feel prepared for next year and give myself a real kind of proper time off that isn't spent through being drunk and sleeping all day? Like, that doesn't fill my cup, but for some of you it might. You might be like, oh my god, I just want my Christmas to look exactly like that. And there's no judgment here at all. Like I said, it's a couple of weeks of the year, it doesn't matter. But it's you finding what you want this to look like and what you don't want it to look like, and that can help you really manifest of, right, okay, this is how it's going to kind of be. So I would say first ask yourself those two questions and then kind of reverse it back to what's the actions for it to look like that. But the number one thing I would say with this, sometimes we think, oh my God, I want this Christmas to be relaxing and perfect and wonderful and happy and glitter and glam and everyone happy, because with family and Christmas, that's never the case. It's never like it is in the American movies. There's always people moaning, there's always people pissed off, there's also people falling out, family dynamics. It's always an absolute nightmare. It's never this magical dream that we have in our heads. Like, we've probably looked back to many Christmases where it's actually been a really stressful time, and a really overwhelming time, and there has been all these fallouts. So I think it's like, if firstly, lowering your expectations of what you want it to be, letting in room for things not to go to plan, letting in room for things to be cancelled, letting in room for things to just not happen, and know that that's okay. And this ties in nicely with your training and your nutrition as well, and knowing that they're not all going to be perfect this year either. But what we like to do, and I've mentioned this a few times in the podcast, is like, we like to have our dimmer switches where we've got your career, we've got your social life, we've got your fitness and your health. And we normally kind of see at this time of the year, your health and nutrition turns down a little bit, your work starts to turn down a little bit. For some of you, it's right up. But most of us, it's kind of turning down, it's winding down. Everybody's saying, well, we're dressing this in the new year in our emails now, which is lovely. And then our social life gets rammed right up. But what we see is like, we don't want this to be all or nothing where everything switches off and life is turned right up, especially if you don't want to be feeling crappy towards the end of the year like I do. So it's really about getting those expectations in alignment. And how you can kind of do that is by starting to plan your week. Sometimes, like when I meet women that join us and lead her that are overwhelmed, stressed, burnt out, they don't plan their week. They're not planning their meals, they're not planning their workouts, they're not planning me time, they're not planning any chill time. They're already planning everybody else's life, but they don't plan their own. And that means they're getting to the bottom of the priority list, which is not what we want. So it's just, it doesn't take long to do, but we try and do it every Sunday on Lead Her or on Monday. Some of us even do it on Friday, like it's Friday while I record this, like I said, and we're going for our food shop tonight because the shop's shut here on Sundays and I don't want to be spending my Saturday out shopping. So I need to do it on Fridays now and I don't enjoy it, but I know if I don't do it, I'm overwhelmed and I'm like flustered going into next week. So I plan my week today to help me get ahead, especially with my food. And that means I know exactly what I'm buying, exactly what I need around our social occasions that we possibly have coming up. So planning can be so key. And we've done this with a few of our Lead Her members for the rest of this month. And we're just like, realistically, what can we fit in this week? This week, and then we've got Christmas week. Knowing that if we don't normally get 4 workouts that we normally do, maybe we can just do one. One is always better than none. And some of you will be like, oh, well, there's no point doing anything because I ate crap this week. It's like, go and do a workout because it's probably what you need out of everything. It's probably just that de-stress that you need. And it's going to, do you know what, as well? Like when I'm on holiday, not even at Christmas, sorry, I'm totally going off track. What I've written down here is that, but that's the whole point of these podcasts, right? It's a discussion. But I go on holiday and me and Joe work out. And some people frown upon that. They're like, you're on holiday. Why are you working out? When I don't move and I just eat and drink, I feel really bloated and constipated. I feel crap. And I don't want that. I want to be eating food, feeling like my tummy's digesting it and using it. And it's like when you eat and you go, oh, I just feel right. I just feel satisfied. That's what it should be like. It should not be like, oh my God, I need to go and lie down. I've ate too much. I feel sick. I feel full. I feel really sluggish and feeling bloated and then feeling really crap and then getting spots. That is not for me. So for kind of Christmas, it's like, how can we maybe keep in a little bit of a workout? Not to say that you shouldn't work out because you're overeating. It's like maybe use that as a reason to maybe get a bit of movement because it's going to utilize all that. Not that you're utilizing calories, you're utilizing the energy that you've been putting in the body. All this lovely Christmas food, these lovely Christmas drinks, you're getting a bit of movement just to help you digest it a wee bit. Get it out your system, get that negativity out of you because it will affect your mindset a little bit in terms of like the alcohol blues, the darkness, the late nights. Like getting a bit of movement can just give you a wee bit of endorphins, burn away some of this energy that we have inside us, make us feel a little bit bloated, that then we can go again. Yeah, so maybe see it as a sign of, okay, it's not punishing you in any way, it's cleansing you and it's making you feel good and it's using the energy and it's going to give you more energy in return to enjoy yourself more. That's how I like to see it. So I still like to exercise through this season. It makes me feel good and I feel strong and I feel fit and I feel healthy and I feel I enjoy my food so much more. So look at your weeks and knowing that it's okay if it's only one thing. And actually we've got some members that aren't going to fit anything in some weeks because their partners are away or they have too much on at work and they simply can't fit in a workout. We're like, it's okay, we'll get them in another week. So that's absolutely fine. So plan your week. What's maybe coming up that's going to get in your way? Can we maybe squeeze in some workouts? And if we can't do workouts, can we get in a wee run? Could we do a wee Pilates? Could we do a wee 20-minute home workout? Just something to get that heart rate up and get you feeling a little bit less bloated, a little bit less full. So then you can enjoy your food and your Christmas even more. So see, when you plan, you can then prepare and be aware. And that's when you get in the expectations in alignment because you're like, realistically, this month is busy, so I'm going to try one workout a week and I'll be really happy and I know my body will feel better, my mind will feel better by the end of this month if I've still managed one workout most weeks. Like that would be absolutely ideal. And with us planning our week as well, what we like to say to our Lead Her members is like, we do this all year round. It's not just December. We'll be like, is it a worth it moment or a fuck it moment? Because we can have worth it moments. Like for me, this month has been so busy. We've had so much family come over and it's been lovely. There's been a lot of worth it moments when I'm like, I don't know, like, yeah, I go away with my mum once a year. That's it. Like maybe I will take a bit of time off work and go and have brunch with her and eat out. Maybe I will take her out for a dinner and we maybe might go and have ice cream, and that's okay. Even if I've had a couple of weeks of doing those things, it's been proper worth it moments. So if you have some things coming up and you're like, this is a real worth it moment, I'm going to remember this forever, and it's really special to me. It's with my granny, it's with my granddad, it's with my partner, it's with my kids, it's seeing Santa. This hot chocolate is a worth it moment together. We're creating a memory. But then you've got your fuck it moments when we're maybe at work and there's mince pies and you don't even like mince pies, but you're eating them. Or maybe you're at work and it's like everybody else is getting a chippy and you're going out that night for dinner and you're like, I don't want a chippy because I'm going out for dinner tonight, but you feel peer pressured. That's a fuck it moment. Maybe if you go into Marks and Spencer's or you go into the car garage and you see the Malteser bunnies, or you're in Marxies and you see like Percy Pig Christmas selection and you go, oh fuck it, I'll just buy it with your lunch. You know, you have those fuck it moments, and maybe with us thinking, is this, just pausing for a second and going, is this a worth it moment or a fuck it moment? It's actually a fuck it moment. I've got loads of lovely things coming on this week and this month. I maybe don't need this right now, and it is just a fuck it moment. Like, I don't need it. Just getting that little second to pause can help you make better decisions with what you're kind of doing with your food as well. With us staying on the kind of topic of that, we also have rules on Lead Her. Like, not that I set the rules, everybody sets their own rules. Like, I've got a rule that there's no drinking on a school night. Maybe a lot of people have that, but I don't think a lot of people do. And myself and Joe, and I remember like lockdown time when it got to like a Wednesday, and I think that's when it was all announced, or yeah, I think so. And we drank the Wednesday, the Thursday, and like the Friday or something, and then it got to the following week, and because we were so bored, it was Wednesday night again, and Joe was like, "We'll have a bottle of wine." I was like, "Nope." And that's when I kind of remembered to myself that I am not going to be someone that drinks during the week. That is just not me. It's not good for me. Even alcohol in general, I try not have a lot because it really hugely affects my mindset. And I don't know if it's coming into my 30s or what, but, or maybe just because I don't do it as much, but it really makes me feel on edge. It makes me feel a lot more blue, down, frustrated, overwhelmed. Negative voices in my head get a little bit louder. It affects my confidence. And when I am trying to run a business and trying to help people, it's not good for me to think that way. So sometimes before I drink, I think, God, like, what have I got on next week? Do I need to be alert and be on my best game, which is most weeks? Then I don't do it. Or I'll just have the one, and I have a kind of line with myself where I'm like, I know if I go over this line, this is going to affect me. So I really know myself and my alcohol limits. But maybe for yourself, it could be like what your rule could be alcohol, or your rule could be I don't eat chocolate at work. Your rule could also be that you don't buy Christmas food until Christmas week. You know, I love Christmas week when you open your mum's fridge and there's just all this Christmas food in there. It's amazing. But maybe you could set your own rule. Like, what's a rule that you can have? Because when we have rules, we're likely to live by them because it's who we believe we are. I know I'm someone that doesn't drink during the week. I believe I'm that person. So I don't do it. Whereas if you don't have that belief and you don't trust yourself to be that way, then you're not going to have that rule. So think of your beliefs, your values, what's important to you. How do you want to feel? How do you not want to feel at the end of the year? Have that rule in place for yourself, whatever that is going to be. But yeah, that's a big one for me with the Christmas food. Even though last week Joe went to the shops, and I always say to him, we're not allowed a panettone until Christmas week. He went to the shops for a volleyball last week and he came back with the biggest panettone I have ever seen. I was like, you are ridiculous. You are not to be trusted. And he's like, I got it for you. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You know my rule. I will not be buying that if I'm in the shops. So he got that, but we had friends here, so it's fine. They all ate it like animals. Hands in, they didn't even cut it. Typical boys. But yeah, they all had the panettone. I had a little bit, but it's that thought process, like, yeah, of course you're going to mess up and things are going to happen. Again, it's not perfect, but I still try and live by that rule for as long as I possibly can, and I'll still follow it now even though I've broken it because of Joe. I'm not perfect either. We're not perfect either, and that's why you need to have that expectation of it's not going to go to plan, but I'll have these rules in place anyway. So that's one thing for me is for before Christmas is like, I'm not going to buy any kind of Christmas food until Christmas week. But one more I want to share with you is that you know how bad it is. We all re-gift box of heroes. We all re-gift box of celebrations. We all re-gift boxes of roses. Why are we buying them? Why are we going to the shops and going, I better get a couple of boxes of roses to give to people as gifts? Nobody wants them. Nobody wants the roses. Nobody wants a celebration. And to be honest, you know you. If you're like me, you have been given a box of celebrations and you've re-gifted it to someone else. These literally do the rounds every year. There's probably times when you've gone up to your attic, took down your Christmas tree, and you've found a box of chocolates. It's always the case, okay? So I kind of say to myself and Joe, I'm like, we're not buying any of that because I know somebody's going to give us it. And granted, we do. We get some from his grandparents, we get some from his parents, we get some from my parents, and then we get some from like our parents are split. So we end up with like 4 or 5 boxes and there's just the 2 of us. So then we go to other people's houses and they give them to them. That's what we do. So I think that's a good thing because you know what it's going to be like. And this is how we'll finish the podcast in January. We have all this leftover chocolate and we're miserable and it's dark and it's cold and we feel down. It all gets eaten in January or it gets gifted away. So have your rule. What's the thing that's going to help you guys stay on track when you are going through this time of the month with the chocolate, with the alcohol and everything like that? And think of your worth it and your fuck it moment. If we kind of stay on the topic of food, one other thing that I like to kind of say with our members as well is to just really kind of think about good food. Okay, so like I like to fill myself up more with all the veggies and Christmas dinner. I'd rather eat more Christmas dinner than having all the kind of chocolate afterwards. So like how can you maybe have like more of the good stuff when you are out for a dinner or when you are out for Christmas Day or New Year's Eve, whatever it's going to be? Like how can we bring in more good food, which is your veggies and all the stuff that you really love? Because you know I would much rather be full from Christmas dinner than be full from all the kind of crappy foods. Like we know that's got so many nutrients, and actually Christmas is like the most healthiest meal of the year. So do not miss that. Do not skip out on that. That is the best meal that you can kind of have. All these meals that we have over Christmas, and you know yourself as well. If you go out for dinner, it's not actually a lot of food. You know, it's like you maybe get soup for a starter or patty for a starter, or brie. Then you've got like your vegetarian dish, fish, or then you've got like your beef or your chicken, and then you've got a crappy dessert. Sometimes it's a brownie, which is a hit. Sometimes it's a sticky toffee, which is a hit, or cheesecake. But a large majority of the time, the pudding's quite crap. It's a 3-course meal. It's really not that bad. But sometimes in our head, we think, oh my God, I've ate out, I've drank out, I'm hungover, I messed up last night. Right now, let's just write off the whole month of December. But actually, you probably ate a lot really well, probably ate better than you did the rest of the year. So don't worry about it. Just be like, right, let's get back on track on Monday. A lot of you don't have much on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, maybe even Sunday. Most things are on Friday, Saturday. So we can still maybe get in that workout, like I said, or we can still make really good quality meals through the week and then not have all the chocolates or the alcohol and stuff until the weekend. And then that way we're still enjoying it. We're having those worth it or we're having those fuck it moments, you know, where we can really enjoy ourselves a little bit. And one thing we do on Lead Hard as well is we always give everybody a high day at the weekend. So even if the girls have got like a girls' night out on Wednesday and then they've got something on the Saturday, we're like, cool, enjoy both occasions. Like, go out, have a great time. But these other days, let's make sure they're bossed. Let's make sure we get our steps in. Let's make sure we get our food and we make some better decisions like on these other days so that we can enjoy the girls' night and the staff night out like to the fullest because we've made these better decisions through the week rather than going, oh my God, I've got a night out on Wednesday, so what's the point? It's like, well, there's more point there for you to be feeling good for Wednesday, but also feeling good and refreshed and ready to rock again on Friday. Like I said, that movement helps you digest that food to go out and feel good again. You having a little bit less food on these days means that you can go out and enjoy your food even more. I think I had one more thing, like food related, which was, I know I've gone quite heavy with food and decisions here, but it is just making some way better decisions and giving yourself that win. It's like we said, getting those expectations aligned again and being like, right, if I have 2 crazy days, but 5 good days, brilliant, that's a win. If we can have like 1 workout each week, brilliant, that's a win. That's how I want you to finish the year, being like, yes, I have enjoyed it. I feel good. I've made better decisions, but I've also enjoyed myself. That's the perfect balance, and that's the best place to be kind of going into January. So some wee things you could do is instead of maybe having 3 courses, you could maybe say, I'm having 2 courses, having whatever starter, whatever main, or maybe having a main and a pudding. And then your third thing is going to be your wine. Yeah, having some wine and just like, or some drinks and enjoying yourself. So you're having 3 of something, either a starter and a main and drinks, or maybe a starter, a main and a pudding and drinks, or maybe you don't want to drink alcohol anyway, so you're just going to have all 3 courses. But either way, give yourself that 3 options, and then that way we're just dropping out one pudding or dropping out a starter because you don't like it anyway. And there's always going to be someone else who's a pig and is going to eat it for you, which is probably one of the guys or one of the girls, and you're just like, you have my pudding, I don't need it, I'm going to have some more wine, guilt free, and enjoy it. Okay, so it's just these little decisions that can go a long way, rather than that fuck it moment of just eating the pudding. Like, I hate cheesecake. Some people are going to really judge me here, but I just don't like it. Like, the texture, the taste, it just makes me gag. But I love cheese and I love cake, but I don't like them together. That some people, like me in the past, I would eat the crumb and I would eat the jammy bit, and I would just eat crap bits around it, the berries and stuff, and I wouldn't even like enjoy it, but I would eat it because it was part of the meal. So maybe being like, actually, I don't need it, I don't like it, I'm not going to have it. So we've not got much left to kind of cover, but 2 things I do want to go over before we finish is like going back to that perfectionism of wanting everything to go perfectly to plan. If any of you guys have been married, or if you think of any Christmases before, it's not going to plan. And you've also maybe put in so much effort to wrapping, so much effort to making everything look pretty, so much effort in the house, so much effort with all the crafts and all these lovely things that you want to do to make it magical and special and feel good. You're trying to like cook the oranges fresh rather than just buy them. Like, you know, that the wee dried oranges, that's what I mean. Some people try and cook them and try and make them or bake them or whatever you call it, rather than just buying them. Like, some of us are just trying to do too much. Again, those expectations are so high. We're trying to do too much, and we're trying to do that with a job, with a family, with a social life, with getting ready for Christmas. Christmas is busy enough. Why not choose or drop some things that don't serve you and you don't need to do, and things that people don't really care about? How many times have you wrapped all these presents, everybody opens them, oh yeah, that was great, and they move on, and you put so much thought and effort and breaking your back into wrapping these gifts that are just gone like that? So why don't you just go, do you know what, maybe they don't need that? Or do you know what, maybe I don't need to wrap it with bows and everything, I can just put sellotape on it and put it in a nice bag. Maybe I don't even need to wrap it, and I can just put it in a bag with a bit of tissue paper and give it to people. It is still a gift, it is still living late, you've still got a gift bag, but you're just not spending hours and hours trying to wrap stuff. And the only reason I'm so passionate about this is because I've been there, I've done it. I do all these things because I do enjoy crafts and building and doing stuff, but I don't have the time to do it, and then I'm stressed and I actually don't enjoy it, and I actually start to resent it. And that's kind of happened to me with Christmas decorations as well. Like, as I've gone so in over a couple of years, especially lockdown years, because I had nothing else to do, making people cookies, making people jam, and it was lovely. But once I gave it, I was like, that actually wasn't worth the effort. I'm not going to do that again. Like, I'm actually choosing things to make my life easier and my life simple. And that's another reason that I'm here in Spain, so I can hide away and I don't need to make myself do all these things, and I can just be a little bit selfish and actually feel refreshed going into January. So that's something that you can do as well. And again, your wedding was probably beautiful, or early Christmases have been beautiful, but there's definitely been stuff that you've done and put a lot of thought and a lot of effort into, and nobody noticed, and only you noticed. Or actually, maybe even on the day you didn't even notice that you did it. Like, we did fans for our wedding, and on the day the glue melted and it was actually too hot and the fans weren't good enough for the actual heat, that it was a bit of a nightmare. And I made them all, and it was a great idea, but also just a waste of time probably anyway. But it makes me laugh thinking about it now. But there's something like that that you're maybe about to do, that you can maybe just go look at your to-do list and maybe go, actually, that maybe doesn't need to be done. Okay, last thing before we move on is just planning a bit of downtime. I think sometimes, like, we are so busy, and then we end up having a nap on the sofa and we beat ourselves up, and we're like, I shouldn't have had that nap, I should have maybe gone to the gym, I shouldn't have had that nap, I maybe should have started the gift wrapping or put the tree up, or I maybe shouldn't have sat and read my book, I've got so much to do. I want you to be like, no, just like, again, look at that week. Is there a little bit of time for you to have a bath, shave your legs, feel nice? Is it a bit of time just to kind of maybe do a wee stretch, maybe Pilates class, or movement might be your de-stressor. Just remember to plan in a little bit of time for you. I actually seen this funny video on Instagram the other day, and it was a mum that actually booked out a hotel room to wrap her presents and uninterrupted. um, I know a lot of us don't have the opportunity to do that, but when I seen it, I was like, go her! Like, she's going to get rapidly through all that stuff and actually enjoy it by watching telly and not having to do 101 things at a time. So when I seen that, I was like, that's a great idea. But yeah, is there a little moment for you? Doesn't need to be every week, but where you can see possible, where you can just really slow down a little bit. Because again, even this podcast today, I've been like, boom, 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 boom. That's December. It goes over in a flash. And like I said, we are like burnt out at the end of it. If we can just slow down a little bit, slow down time, and that might mean getting up a wee half an hour early just to have a cuppa before the kids go crazy. That might just be you getting up a wee bit earlier to go and do a workout, to then have the rest of your day, to then come home and lie on the sofa and do hee-haw. Like those little things that you might do that give you more time back later. Maybe it's even just getting a podcast on, getting wrapped up and just going out for a little walk somewhere to clear your head. Like just plan in that little bit of me time. And again, it might not happen, which will be super frustrating. And like I said, this isn't all stuff that you need to do. I just want you to take wee things away from this where you can think, actually, I want to feel like that in January. And it's just sometimes slowing down a little bit and just giving yourself permission to not do anything. Because again, sometimes we get FOMO and we see all these families doing all these amazing things, and these couples, especially if you're single, you see all these couples and all these love stories and love movies, and it's cute and it's lovely, but can make you feel like you're missing out, and it can make you feel guilty for staying at home. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's okay to slow down. And do not say yes to anyone in person. So if someone asks you if you want to do something and you are a people pleaser, I want you to be like, nope, I'll get back to you. I need to look at my diary. My diary's at home. I need to go and look at it. I need to actually go and ask my friend because I don't know what I'm doing yet. Actually, I need to go and ask my boss. I don't know what my shifts are yet. I need to go and speak to my partner because I don't know what we've got planned. Don't say yes to anyone in person. Say you will get back to them, because it's much easier to say no by text. And it also gives you 24 hours or a couple of hours to actually decide if you want to do the thing, because sometimes we just see a wee clear space in the diary and we fill it. We fill it with noise and constant busyness. Whereas maybe it's going, do you know what, actually, I've got a really busy few weeks, so this is the one weekend or the one day where I can do something for me, and I want you to book something in for yourself. Okay, so don't say yes to doing anything with anyone in person this month. Step away and look at your diary and text them your answer. Last but not least, hopefully I've not forgotten anything, but like I said, I wanted this to be a survival kit. I want a kit, sorry, not kick. I wanted this to be a survival kit. I want this to just give you ideas, inspiration, and just that reminder to lower your expectations and be kind to yourself, and just like slow down this month a little bit than being all go, go, go and feeling like a failure come December. We do not want that. The last thing I want to say is that January, once you get back into routine, give yourself 1 to 2 weeks before you even think about your body or your training or anything like that. Everybody needs 1 to 2 weeks after a holiday, after Christmas, after any busy time, just to come back into themselves, get back into routine with food, back into routine with sleep, back into routine with your workouts and steps and work, and everything will balance out itself. Your body will start to use up all that extra food that you've had. Your body will start to feel better for exercising, and that is the key. So if you do take this month off and you just go wild, don't beat yourself up in January. Use it as an ambition, use it as a drive, use it as a focus to just give yourself 2 weeks to get back into routine before you decide to start a diet, or before you start to stop eating everything in January. Don't punish yourself. Just get back into routine, eating better, exercising and sleeping better will reduce the bloating massively without you having to diet. And then hopefully you can then kind of see where you're at after kind of 2 to 3 weeks of being back in routine. A lot of the time on 1st of January, we do not get our members to weigh themselves until the 2nd or 3rd week. And normally by the 3rd week, we see their body weight is the same as what it was in December. If you step on the scales in January the 1st, you're probably going to get a fright. Of course you are. You've been eating and drinking. You've been up so many late nights. You've been so freaking stressed. Your body weight's going to be up. 2 to 3 weeks, your body will just always go back to its normal place. For majority of people, unless you have completely gone wild, but getting back into routine is always the most important thing. Okay, I hope you've taken something away today. If I have been a pain in the bum and you're like, shut up Leanne, tell me, it's a-okay. But I hope you've taken something away, and I would love to know if there has been something that has hit home with you, the worth it or fuck it moment, the expectations, the dropping the to-do list. Let me know if there's something that has hit home with you to be like, I'm going to do that this December. Anyway, this isn't the last podcast of the month. I'm going to be back over the next few weeks, but I just wanted to get this in early so you've got some food for thought over the next kind of couple of weeks. Okay, I hope you have an amazing week, and remember, keep making some time for yourself.